Our young blonde necromancer hero attempts to run from the responsibility of proving that skeleton mages are the new meta and are all handsome Sigma trust fund chads. Yeah, well, you might notice something's going on here. Yeah, I've actually got a mod installed, and that, my friends, is a female necromancer. Incredible. Look at that photo-realistic hair. Yeah, doesn't look anything like any other characters. Raise Skeletal Mage. That's what we're focusing on today. Right, let's talk about the skill quickly. It's not complicated. More points, more Skeletal Mages. You get some life and defense and the mana cost goes up. First few levels are very important because you get a mage every level, but there's diminishing returns on that. Straight into Players 8, you can see in the background then because I'm an absolute chad. Right, ignore the skeleton that's just been raised there. Just gloss over that. The main other skill we're going to be investing in is Skeleton Mastery. The best thing about it is it improves the appearance of the skeletons. But there's this ridiculous table of like more points you put in and more points of blah blah blah. Anyway, more points you put into it, the more damage we do. Look at this, incredible. Look, if this doesn't set the tone, I don't know what does. Oh, and that click action, insane. Have you seen anyone do it that quickly before? Yeah, I actually recorded this some time ago, so this is actually quite looking forward to watching it myself. Straight into the Den of Evil, because I don't mess around. Mage. It's going to be a while until we can actually get mages, so I am going to just use some Skelly Boys. Just because there's only so much one boshing we can do. So I've got the 1 point in Skeleton Mage, which is a requirement to get Skeletal Mastery. And Skeletal Mastery is going to be important, so with the wand, I've actually got 2 points in Skeletons, so I'm going to use these Skelly Boys. Decent Scepter. Scepters are pretty much the best Act 1 weapon you can get, especially get a rare one. You get some incredible mods, and they can carry you for quite some time. Probably better than the 2 to 6 damage I'm doing with my wand. But let's get back to town, because I've frankly wasted my Identify scroll. But with that first like mega chest of loot, we've got some pretty good stuff here to sell. And look at this. I mean, paladins are just so overpowered. That is ridiculous. So again, a lot of those can be improving skeleton. +2 skeleton mastery already. What? This is ridiculous. Scripted. So look, we're eventually going to be pushing right down to... it's so annoying. Low resist is such a good skill, but you need to be level 30 and get so many points invested in the rest of the tree. But I found with some of my other Necromancer runs that actually investing in the other parts of the curse tree is quite good fun, because it adds a lot of... other ways that we can solve the many problems we come up against. Already, Hazaru's Iron Fist. Badass name for an item. And actually not bad. That +10 to strength is pretty good. And the shame I'm experience of the cap, the tattered cap. That's so broken it's not actually showing on my character. My beautiful blonde locks. So a lot of the run's complexity comes from the fact that every now and then I thought I was a sorceress. I was like, I'm looking forward to teleporting here, or I'll just whip out some telekinesis. No, no sir. What's Akara given us? Well, she's given us a skill point. I wasn't really concentrating during that Den of Evil, I'll be honest. But I'm pushing Skeleton Mastery now. We've got a long time, unfortunately, to wait until we get skeletons. I say a long time, it'll be a few minutes for you. But I've got to endure the first few levels here. Just bonking things with my scepter. Well, actually, with amplified damage, which is doubling that physical damage, wasn't too bad. So the levels do come pretty quick. Keep putting points into that Skeleton Mastery. Eventually, we're going to have to start working our way up the curse tree, which is going to be a bit of a challenge, but or a bit of endurance. It's always a shame when you feel like you're just wasting points. A bit like on a paladin when you're getting Holy Shield. Get that guy's boots. Well, slightly more superior. And there's me getting excited about an eagle orb. Yeah, not for you. So I'm clearly a necromancer. So quite good fun getting into mods, I'm going to say. They're not as many mods as I'd like there to be at the moment. A lot of them seem to be like adding in more creatures and stuff like this. But look at this. +3 bone armor is the crucial thing there. There's a lot of noise otherwise. But having that as a offhand, that is really good. So each level, I know this so well from Mick Dagger, is 15 damage reduction. When you've got 85 hit points, that's pretty significant. Just can't help myself here. Cave paintings, I love it. bit of history in the area. I really like the old art style. I think it looked really cool. And I know they've kind of upgraded the angle, and maybe it looks more realistic. The old art style, I think, is just so good. I think a lot of it actually is the colour palette. I think the limited colour palette and how a lot of the colours are very dark or very bright really helps them pop. So we've got some skill points to spend here. Part of me's thinking, oh, you got to do it eventually, dude. And actually dim vision, man, since I've been using dim vision, it's just so overpowered. And with the skeletal mages, I think we're probably going to have to get it, because it will be a real benefit. I think let's avoid the poison and bone. That'll make it too easy. I think, yeah, let's start slowly working our way into there. And actually, I'm getting used to some of the areas I used to really dislike. This is one of the examples of an area which I'm kind of like, oh, do I have to go through this again? But actually, I just find as long as I go the opposite way that my instincts tell me to go, I actually find the way quite quickly. So any area I'm like, oh, this area again, I'll just be like, well, normally I go left here or down a bit. I'm just going to go right and up. I'll tell you, it works. 50% of the time, it works 100% of the time. That's all I'm going to say. So, brute minions, Darkwood, you know what we're doing. It's Treehead. And so named Woodfist, of course, because of the incredible size of his... Well, look, you're not going to become the leader of the gang without something to help you stand out. Tougher fight, and you can start seeing some of the limitations of the Skelly boys here. The virgin Skelly boys, and they're just pathetic. Now, the good old days of D2, as many of you will recall, every point you put in skeleton, you got a skeleton. Yep. So it's very easy to get 40 skeletons, and even though skeleton mages weren't very good then, you'd still get 20 of them just for the memes. Gambling for the belt there. You can do it at 6, I've been told. Not likely though, but I waited till I was a bit older. Just chucking some points in some of the basic stats. I like to get my strength up quite high just so I can use a lot of equipment I find. Dexterity, it's nice having a few points if you are going to use it for block. And then of course all the rest of the points into vitality. You don't need a huge amount in normal, but to be honest I never die in normal anyway, so I don't know why I even bother putting any points in. Mindwipe the Grim. Trying to break his way into a woman's house. This is what he's going to get, a scepter in the side of the head. And a level up. And it's quite an important one. I'm level 11, it's not important. This cool little standoff here. Here's me kind of imagining I'm trying to defend myself. Just got these, stop these goat boys getting to the club. Can't get in with those trousers anyway, mate. And Rakanishi. Rakanishi? 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 What is it? Rakanishi? Rakanishi? Rakani? I can't remember. Oh my god. Yeah, I've started a new job, so my brain is absolutely fried. Rakanishi, of course it's Rakanishi. You kidding me? Rakanishi's his wife. Yeah, I actually almost die there. You got to be really careful of that lightning enchant at the beginning, because you can just get absolutely stomped by it, especially if you're not really concentrating on your health. Let's enjoy some of the lightning effect. There is one mod I saw which actually changes how lightning storm works, which I thought might be quite interesting to try. It's one of my favourite skills. I used to love the way it looked. But look, anyway, back to this video. Skeletal Mage. And I'm slightly worried about converting my one skeleton melee boy already into a skeleton mage, but that's the name of the video, we got to do it. What I should have done is probably got rid of the other skeletal mage like he was being upgraded, but let's just pretend that happened. And there he is, converted, our melee skeleton boy, finally. Now there's 4 different skeletal mages. Most of you already know this, but for those that don't know, there are 4 different elemental types that the skeleton mages can summon as, and I believe it's completely randomised as to who you're going to get. In this instance, we've got a Frost Mage. I don't know why I said it like that. I think my brain's very slow. But anyway, he's casting Ice Bolt, and you can see it slows opponents down. Now, that's not particularly ideal, because anyone who's cold, and you can see there the Fallen, a perfect example, there is a chance on death of them shattering, and again there's another great example. I need those bodies to resurrect more mages. At this point it doesn't really matter too much, but ideally you want one Frost Mage within your kind of retinue to slow the opponent down, especially if it's a boss, but you definitely don't want too many. I don't believe the damage that the frost guys do is as high as the lightning and the fire. And the poison, oh my god, don't even talk to me about that. That's like the blood golem equivalent. Oh, actually, maybe that's not fair. The blood golem was such trash tier in Golemdad when I used it, so... And I know a few of you have come to his defence, but man, he's failed all of his exams. He's still living at home with me and the wife, so it's just frankly embarrassing. And this really surprised me. Griswold there, one-on-one. The mage is fine. Look at that, just standing in a fiery house. Just chilling. Like I say, absolute alpha Chad. And I think I've got enough points in Skeleton Mastery that actually these guys are quite overpowered. I just need to get a few more level ups so I can get a decent group of them. And a small shield there of a green variety. Here we go, number 2. And of course, it's, yeah, another Frost Boy. Well, we've doubled our damage, but it'd be nice to showcase a few of the different elements at this early stage. 25% block chance. Actually, I mean, just 5 points. These early points in dexterity will make a massive difference to your block chance. So it's always worth putting a few in. We've got Cleglaw's shield there. I didn't really showcase it very well, but yeah, Cleglaw's Claw. Yeah, I think he's got decent defense, 26 defense. And actually 2 set items in the Cleglaw's gives you 15 resistances on that item, so it can be pretty good for this kind of early level. But it's got a 30% block chance, and that's really the reason I'm using it. And you can see here I've got one of my poison boys. Now I'm kind of looking at him outside. He probably realises I'm looking at him. The benefit of the poison is that it stops creatures' natural regeneration, which on some creatures can be a real pain, especially like Ventar. A lot of those like Venom Lords can actually be quite a pain because they've got quite decent health pools if they've got some difficult mods. But what you don't want is 5 of them, because there's no benefit whatsoever. The poison doesn't stack. It just overwrites itself, so you're not getting any more damage output. And you can see here, even with the 2 boys, with my scepter, holding my own, definitely. Warp Shank the Sharp, no chance, mate. Yeah, I'm really sick of the poison here. It's just not really doing the damage output. I'm go to unsummon him, but he manages to kind of hide himself as a cold mage for a bit, and I'm got that kind of grudging respect for that kind of deception, so we'll let him live for a bit longer. I'm just checking out the tower here. I literally, as I was doing this, thinking it's such a shame they didn't let you clear this and then turn it into a base. You can see like the dilapidated ceiling. You could really like make this into a cool area and have like the dungeon underneath. And they could have had the dungeon underneath like go much deeper, so it'd be like a whole other like dungeon system you could do, almost like a Diablo like dungeon system. Diablo 1 that is. We just get deeper and like the levels change and stuff, but just be able to like do it up and stuff like that is really cool. I really liked in Baldur's Gate, the first Baldur's Gate. No, actually the second one, where you get the stronghold. You kind of like liberate the stronghold and then take it over. It's a shame they didn't do more with it in the later game, like having to go back to it and stuff, but still extremely cool. And here we go, the Fire Mage. Man, easily the best one. Easy. It's such a shame there isn't a way of choosing which mage you want, because that, otherwise it'd be quite good fun. Because you have 1 frost, 1 poison, and the rest of them fire. Maybe the odd lightning too. And the archers, man, in this tower. I'm still playing on players 8, remember? Yeah, they can really, really do some damage. But with 3 fire mages, laughing, mate. You're just going to catch the end of Blood Grumble. I mean, seriously, one of the best named. And then Shadow Wolf the Impaler, one of the worst names. But Blood Grumble, my god, what a name. I'm almost tempted to make a character. One thing I'd love to start doing is playing as a creature. We'll see if we can mod that in. But I'd love to play as a goat boy. And Blood Grumble, definitely Blood Grumble, by the way. So we've stormed through the Countess's Temple, and we've got a level up, which is really welcome. Unfortunately, now it's level 4. I get that disappointment of not actually being able to get another mage. So I'm just going to keep putting some more points in this. Another 2 more points, we'll get our 4th mage. And it's worth getting quite a few levels in, because it is quite significant, the damage, you know, from having someone else in the roster. The Countess. Fortunately, fire enchanted, so I probably should have switched out some of those mages, but easily defeated. And now we get the fun of shopping. Everybody loves shopping, especially when you've got no money. So a good example there, like the wand I kind of wanted was about 50k, and I've got between stash and inventory about 18, so we're going to have to hold out just for a bit longer. Back into the tower, the Countess Tower, and it's great experience. Like either Tristram or the tower, two really good spots. But actually, there's a few runes I might quite like. It's always great having stealth, but a few other things. If you can get, you know, a few rows and stuff, you might be able to get up to an Ort, and then you just wait for that soul rune. You can get the Lore Helm, which is a really good one. 2 Grand Charms as well. 7 to life, incredible. Poison, oh my god, incredible. I will actually keep that poison resist, because much like a lot of these, I'll pick up the Grand Charm as well, because I kind of want the money, need the cash at this point. Another point of Skeleton Mage. Chaos Head the Jagged? Now you tell me if that's a cool name or not. It's not. More Darkstalkers. Decent experience. You can see I'm really, like, the experience really chunking up when I take them down. And the Countess, no match for a Lightning Bolt. And the Ethrune, yeah, that's what we want. A Talon and an Eth. And we get some mage on mage action. Storm Feast. Yeah, badass. Absolute badass name. Storm Feast is really cool. And I noticed the door open up here. For a foolish move. The returned archer revealed his hand too early. We were like, we got ya. But he had a backup. The classic anime, this. Absolute classic anime. Watching a lot of anime at the moment because I've got a long commute now to get through. So, but hold up. On the journey, what have I found? What is this on the floor? And is that there? What is that? And an eye. It looks like it's kind of replicated, which annoys me slightly. Because someone's just going to trip over that on the ground. You know my thoughts on candles left unattended. Not a great fan. What is that chair doing up there? What is that chair? That is a chair. Loving the roof. Oh, there's like a whole section up there. Oh, like a walkway. Oh my god, that is so good. Oh, it's such a shame you can't travel up there. Imagine getting the Skelly boys around the corner. Even like little steps and stuff. There's a whole like upper walkway there. Man, that looks awesome. I can't believe they've added all that detail. So good. Yeah, now the chair makes contextual sense. It being up on the other walkway. Although you're going to have to walk past that chair. And there's not the room for 2 people to walk past there. And look at the other side. And this is all new stuff. There's some rogues there. Look like they've too much ketchup. Oh, you damn. And yeah, you can see like the returned there, having shot arrows into the rogues here defending the monastery. That is awesome. And there's even like that little trapdoor there as well. Where they've come up and down. That is cool. More unattended candles then, so clearly, yeah, I'm not impressed. Safety rating, 0. Cool rating, yeah, pretty high actually. Yeah, I've not noticed that detail before. Man, I love finding. I can't believe how many times I've been through this now. I'm still finding stuff to talk about. Must be getting sick of me. So yeah, it's super dangerous. This really, really dangerous. Still playing on a very high player count. So I'm almost certain I'm still on players 8. Normally by this point, when you get into the barracks, I start bringing the difficulty down because I've got enough levels. Maybe get to like level 12, 13. I don't really need to be playing on players 8. So I'm going to get diminishing returns from experience. But Dire Spell here eventually with some decent micro, I'm able to move around there. And then the Smith. This can go anyway, but I'm like looking at this and thinking this is incredible. Incredible. Think about how hard it's been with some runs. And that is not a challenge. And this is not players 1, by the way. That is players 8. Let's have a quick look at his forge because I love it.
I hope the sisters appreciate this thing.
I did like the way it looked before, but there's the lighting, the way it lights up the whole room, just gives me such strong vibes. It reminds me of Dark Souls for some reason. Just that like cozy zones and stuff like that, like makes exploration like really good fun. 2 anvils there, and they are different anvils, which I really respect. And like tools and stuff. Because I wonder if those swords you see on different creatures. Because those shields look too big. But that could be a fallen shield back there. And it looks like some kind of fallen marking, so we should look out for that, really. And let's have a look. It's an ear spoon. Looks like it, doesn't it? Or some kind of lance. Yeah, badass. And the chest there. I mean, stuff like that in so many games you just get as a repeated asset. But that is a unique chest, I'm certain of it. Yeah, here we go. Oh, perfect. What an actual chest looks like. Foulmaim the Hunter. What, absolutely melted, by the way. And look at this bony mess. Oh, I like that little, like, shoulder roll there. A bit cocky. Here we go. And this is big news. And it's a fire mage. It feels so rewarding when you add one more and you get the fire mage. So I could actually have one of all elements now, which is quite cool. Got a few more points to spend here. I think let's just keep putting points into strength. I don't hate getting 60 strength quite early on. And look at this trap. Fortunately, he gave his position away. I was trying to throw a fireball through a little crack. There you go, you little crack. Little crackhead. Love a bit of pentagram action. It's strange the way they've like changed a lot of the angle of stuff. And flags. I'm sure we've just spoken about the flags before. Unfortunately, it's the same symbol of the temple, but yeah, I couldn't tell you what temple. I'm not that into the lore, I'm afraid. I just like looking at the details. And I hate the jail, but I looked at this area and I was like, pretty good. I actually quite like this. I love the way they've built into a lot of zone. Like in this again reminds me of Dark Souls. I might have mentioned this before, but there's a bit in like Dark Souls 3 where you come down some steps in one of the earlier areas, and there's like little cubbies and stuff where creatures can hide. But that is a real mess. Someone's gonna have to tidy up. But man, great detail. And look at this guy. You all right, mate? Yeah. Not sure which side of him to talk to be honest. And low quality belt. Yeah, this is a low quality area. I don't know what I'm doing messing around here. Let's get out of here. Inner cloister. Always click the dead rogue there. I'll say that when you've had a whiskey, Christ. Back to town with the Skelly boys. Let's make some money. And actually, my +1 skeletal mastery. I don't need it. Okay, +2 raise skeletal mage. Now this is actually probably a decent time to just find a +3 to raise skeletal mage. +3 at this point would be another skeletal mage. And actually, when I'm only summoning 4, that's quite a decent increase. So I think it's worth cycling that back and forth. Of course I don't bother. Can't be bothered. Oh man, almost get punished pretty badly there. 17 life. I mean, you know me, I'm not going to die normal, but one of these days it's going to happen. And thought I'd actually have a look around. I wanted to fight Bonash there, but he didn't really put up much of a fight. But then I ended up just having a look at this and thought, oh, I wonder what kind of detail they're putting here. I'd love to know where they got the inspiration for when they did the remaster, because a lot of this stuff just wasn't there before. And I love the old colour palette, as I said before. I tell you what, the inspiration looks like it was just from the original. But man, the detail here is incredible. Love what they've done. Got to say, the lighting in the old version, chef's kiss. It is so good. I thought I'd have a quick look around here, actually. All these smashed windows. I mean, how many people look at these smashed windows? I'm sure I've seen them in the past. And these like bodies strewn around as well. Pretty gruesome. It really looks like the place has been attacked. Where they like smash the walls and stuff like that. And even knock the books on the ground. These barbarian bastards. Let's have a look. I don't actually remember this room. Was it before? Just a little bit of nothing. Like the like transept, is it? Or the vestry? I think it might be a vestry. Not the best vestry I've ever seen, I've got to be honest. Looks like a real mess. Needs some furniture in there. Hard times though. So we're into the catacombs. Actually faring very well, I've got to say. The points we put into skeleton mastery are really paying off. We just don't need to worry about that for some time. I think we're up to maybe level 8 on skeletal mastery. And it's just making our skeletons so tough. Like the damage they're doing is well in excess of the area we're in. I am still quite terrified though. So +3 skeleton mastery one there, pretty good. Having a look at the green one there. The green one always like draws my eye. It's normally either poison, but it can be +2 skills. We're well off being able to roll that, of course, but +3 Ray Skeleton Mage. It's a no-brainer at this point. I mean, it's expensive, 38k, but I think it's probably worth it. It's nice to have the like skeletal mastery, but really having another handsome Chad to enjoy some sloppy steaks with. I mean, come on. But we really want... Yeah, I mean, look, this is like perfect retinue to have. We got someone to slow. I did unfortunately lose one of them at one point, but hold up. What is this? What is this plumbing nightmare? Well, they've got rid of it in the remaster, which is a shame. But that is incredible. That is like 1994 web page animated GIF. That is incredible. All 4 frames of it. Now we've got a skill point to spend, and I could just keep putting points into that, but I think it might be worth getting dim vision. Now it doesn't work on bosses, super uniques, heroes, stuff like that, but it does do things like completely stop the shaman from being able to resurrect, and it's just worth it in the future. I mean, you know, archer packs, things like that, you could just mitigate the danger from a distance, and it actually stops things like will-o-wisps, like the Golems, from actually being able to shoot at all. So unfortunately I'm not very good at using it. And here I'm just trying to angle. This is part of the frustration of the run, is trying to angle them right. Like they are quite weird when the AI of mages. They're very like speedy boys, like golems, but they don't always follow you into a room like you want them to. So just showing off some of the skills there. 24% chance to block is not huge. We've actually put the I put it down to 2, then I put it down to 1 because I really pussied out. I'm just terrified of the important thing to note is bosses, end of act bosses is what we're really coming to get through here, right? Do 400% damage to minions, so I kind of know I'm going to have to be the tank, which is not what I was born to do, I'll be honest, with this hit points, but I've got a little bit of block chance. I've not completely ignored getting a decent shield and having some dexterity, and here I'm just chucking out that dim vision. So if you stand next to the shaman, they use their melee attack, which is nice, but actually from a distance I can just cast dim vision. Here's a good example there. Just cast the dim vision. Actually the damage, pretty confident, but this pack here, and I just see some of the bloody afflicted come in, which are really, really annoying. But actually, very easy. Players, like now we're on players level 1, I'm looking at this and thinking I made a really big mistake. Maybe I should have saved the next and done it on high difficulty just to enjoy it. But unfortunately, they're getting a bit distracted with some fallen and keep getting resurrected, so the first part seemed to go very well. And when she's casting that poison, you can see, I mean, they are actually taking enough damage to get destroyed. You see that one at the bottom there. And what is that? Short staff? What even is that? I'm not even sure I've ever seen this item, by the way. But let's get to the best act in the game, Act 2. And we can talk to Deckard Cain. I get a bit distracted by the well. I'm thinking, that is actually quite a full well. I don't know what Deckard's doing near him. He's got a bit of a reputation with poison wells, as far as I'm concerned. So let's have a look. I really want to see. So we get a Brutal Club, which is quite a cool name for an item, I've got to say. Bane Ash. So this is the unique staff. I don't think I've really seen this before. +5 to Fireball and 50% fire resist. Man, you know, that's actually I mean, for a build that just does Firebolt, that is cool. Rare chain gloves, there's not really anything there. There's a bit of fire resist to work with, but yeah, it's probably worth switching it up just for the extra defense. Defense does matter, despite what people tell you. At low levels, a few more defense can make the difference between getting hit or not. Now, I need to go back and forth to the Desert Rose. I could just use the sewer trap there, in fact. I didn't even think of that at the time. But I'm going to wait until I get the first waypoint. And I'm actually looking at the docks here. Because again, I don't think I've really looked at these before. The reason I walked past this and suddenly thought, it must be really difficult to get cargo up those ladders. And I thought, well, there is the slope here. But this, look, you see everyone's using this one. I think Mashif needs to have a word. So I'm using the old map trick here. I've just got an idea that it's probably to the left based on where the entrance at the top is. I'm so good at this game by this point, you know I'm going to be right. 50% of the time I'm right, 100% of the time. And I skip straight towards Radamant. The tactic here, unfortunately, because I've put a few points into mages now, they're quite expensive, was to just take all the corpses out of the picture by raising the undead myself. And he did quite a lot of damage, I've got to say. That poison, look at that. I don't have a lot of health, so maybe it was only doing 10 points per tick. And this is sped up footage, of course, but yeah, it's scary. It's scary being on 1 life when you know you've never died on normal before. A lot of you won't have experienced that before. And nice, just quick. I love that. I love that quest. Well, when you get a decent map, it is quite good fun. Actually, there, the Ethereal Helm has got decent defense, and you know how much I like annoying people who say defense is pointless. It's dim vision. I don't see any point in putting any more in. I don't really like Confuse, I'll be honest, and Attract. I find it kind of a bit cheap. It doesn't really work that well. Eventually we're going to need Summon Resist. We're not going to ignore Revive, I think. Skeleton Mastery is looking good at level 8. I mean, it's difficult to know what to put the point in, I'll be honest. Let's hold on to it for a little bit. We have to go down the curse tree at some point. We need Summon Resist, because we're going to have to put some points in that golem part of the tree, which is really annoying. And look at this sunken dude. I was like, where is his head? Has he buried his head? I've just seen his head. It's next to it. Brutal. I kind of wish with the mercenaries they just redesigned them so you could equip them with different weapons, not just reliant upon like, oh, Act 2. Act 2 mercenaries are just so overpowered compared to the others. I know there are like case examples, the odd case study where you can justify using like an Act 3 one, not really ever an Act 1 one. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with you if you think you can make that work. But the Act 5 ones could be pretty good as well with the right items. And actually I wanted to make a stealth and realised I didn't have the runes, so we're heading back to the tower. And now we're at this level, it's quite good fun. You can see they're starting to utilise the necessary town portal to redirect my dudes. I don't really want to have to like farm for a Staff of Teleport. I'd need to do that in Act 3 anyway, but I want to just, let's rely upon the Tome of Town Portal at this point. And you see how easy it is. Unfortunately, we're not really getting any experience at this point. But actually, it didn't take too long. And look, the same small shield I got rid of. They must have just chucked it in the bin. And it ended up in the tower again. So stealth, unfortunately, that takes a little bit of the strength away I had from the armour. So I can't necessarily use my helm. But you get to see my hair for a little bit. It was early days on the mods. I appreciate this is slightly gimmicky, having the old female necromancer, but hopefully the sign of things to come if the modding community gets behind it. I'll put the link to the mod in the description. I'm sure the dude won't mind, the guy who made it. Classic TP trick there. And then utilising dim vision. Of course I missed the first time because I'm not a 14-year-old StarCraft player anymore. And let's make our way through the Halls of the Dead. Actually, incredible map there. It's always Halls of the Dead again. I can see why people get a little bit annoyed with Act 2, but with the right kind of RNG, if you get lucky a few times, then it's really super satisfying act. The game could benefit from a lot smaller, generally smaller maps, and just more acts in general. But you know, you always want what you don't have, and we're very lucky to have the remaster we've got. I didn't realise this guy was a hero. I was like, why is he taking so long? But yeah, soon he goes down. And got another shield. Are you kidding me? This one is Storm Guild. Large shield. Okay, so decent lightning resist. Got actually quite a good chance of blocking as well. I don't really feel like I need it at this point, so I'm not going to put it on. And Resurrected Skeleton Mage. Like at this point, when you're like early in the act, oh man, the skill points just keep coming. It's when you get to the end of the act and realise you've squandered your points on stuff you don't need. But you can see there's like the tactics I have to employ here. There's a decent like army of skeletal boys coming towards me. I'm going to have to reposition the lads. We get into a decent position. I'm just going to have to keep pumping the dim vision into the distance and hope it hits the Unraveler there. And actually realise there's more than one. Look at this, a very rare sight. What is this? They've been playing some kind of hoop game with this waypoint because it's so rarely used. Yeah, it's like the train station nobody ever visits. A little bit more dim vision. It's taking a little bit longer than I wanted to, this Halls of the Dead, but decent experience. And this room's always quite good fun, 'cause you're never sure quite what you're going to get. But what we know we're going to get is the Resurrected Cube. And these spear throws can be a bit annoying. And there you can see I'm just showing how dim vision. So I'm definitely not accidentally casting it because I've forgotten, but yeah, dim vision doesn't work, unfortunately, on the bosses and stuff, because it would trivialise them completely. The Skelly Boys have got it handled, though. Such giga chads, so... And this is real time there, me doing the gems. Best thing about getting the Resurrected Cube, starting to clear up that inventory. Look at this for a real mess. Again, dim vision, just working so well. I'm not going to sit and try and farm everything. But people like the Dark Elder, I love the fact they made him unique. So weird. I don't know if anyone really farms the Dark Elder, or what his drop rate are. The best thing about the Lost City in terms of farming is there is the Ancient Tunnels, which is quite good if you're a Blizzard mage, I seem to remember. I never really got too much into the meta farming, because I just didn't find it that entertaining. I'm actually at this point just going back to the category. Every now and then you can tell when I've like taken a break between games. I'm like, oh, let's just try and do something a bit different. So if you ever like had a bit too much of an area, just go and do something fun. Just thought I'd kill Andaria. I think this is on quite a high player count. It was completely pointless. Let's return to our normal scheduling. I love the like temple vibes here, man. It looks so cool. It really remind me for some reason of Serious Sam when I played this time round. I don't know if you guys ever played that, but like the levels there, I really wish they'd make more of like the open areas, and they did a really good job in Diablo 4 actually. I know people hate it when I mention that in a positive light, but there's like an Oasis area in that which looked really good, and actually they did a good job in Diablo 3 as well. Yeah, again that's going to really wind people up. But they're not bad games, guys. They're just different. They're just different. A bit like I've not played the new Baldur's Gate, but I love Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 so much. I actually find it quite hard to bring myself to play Baldur's Gate 3 when I know it's not the same. And I loved Divinity 2. I played that co-op all the way through and really enjoyed it, so maybe I'll enjoy it, but we'll see. Not at 50 quid. What, am I made of money? Fucking hell. Fang skin. Now, no skin after it got burnt to a crisp by these Giga Chab mages. It's always quite nice when you can scream through some of these areas without too much of a challenge. I'm not having to punch them or poison dagger them. Easy. And even go back just to clear up the mess. Now we've got a waypoint. Let's get to Elzix. The Desert Rose is his shop. And back and forth. I'll show you a little bit of what I have to endure. And of course I get so distracted. I'm sure I've not got ADHD, but man, I may as well be with this game. But you can see that little book on there. What is it? Whose book is that? And I found these. Now they are just boots. I get it. Low defense, but pretty decent lightning resist. And this is kind of what I'm looking for, right? I just want some magic fine gear. I just find it's worth it here. Like, get rid of all those like little small mods. Like fire resist 8% is going to make no difference to anyone. Now look at this. This is like a real tour. Number one, this skull. Just what is that doing there? Number two, how good was it in the old version? It really looks like they've burrowed in. This looks like a cave, but the old version looked like it actually something burrowed in and dug through and like created that mound as it burrows through. So you're like, what is the creature at the end of this that's created all these tunnels? I really think they've kind of missed the point in the remaster. I mean, not that I don't love the remaster, I just think they've, you know, you're never going to get the full vision, the original vision, man. That is super cool. And this area is normally a real pain, but now I know the trick. Easy mode. And actually, let's let the lads just clear out some space here. I'm going to reposition them. And I tell you what, I'm sure at some point they've nerfed the poison of this guy, because it used to fill the entire room, and it used to wipe groups. I'm not even kidding, because it was. I'm getting a bit distracted from what we should be looking at, which is the fact I've got two parts of the set. Hazaru's set, and actually those beats are pretty good. 25% fire resist is good, and they've got some faster run walk. And again, here's how to do it. Every time I'm like, this is just a tutorial of how to do it. I get a bit slowed down by these monkey boys, but we'll move on from them. Actually, I really feel like the damage output we've got. And with dim vision in this area, easy. I'm not even kidding. These archer groups, mage groups, easy. Unfortunately, we've got Fire Eye in the worst position, which is when he's like holding down this area. And you can see a lot of my mage attacks seem to be bonking the door, which is really annoying. So I'm going to try and attempt to reposition here. But I know this is going to be a challenge. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, like, we get the first guy and then they all kind of reposition and now a few of them aren't hitting again. But we look like we're getting through them. And actually, the AI of these guys is really poor, so I might just run past them. Ah, there you go. Oh, and very nice. Oh, ethereal as well. The Coif of Glory. What a name for a condom brand. But yeah, we've got lightning resist, hit blinds target. I actually, for some reason, thought that was going to be different. I thought it was going to be Tarn Helm, which was really good. And I thought there's another full helm, which I think is... maybe the set one has got resistances, which is a good one to get. But anyway. Look at this extremely meta use of the teleport pad, leaving those kind of weird smoke trails, which is quite cool. I think that's the smoke from the fireballs, which is kind of like sketching out slightly. A skeletal mage. 6 skeleton mages up at this point. Seems overpowered, right? What can I say? It's clearly the new meta. So with dim vision, we're laughing, but we know we've got 5 points there at some point we're going to have to put in. So we're level 20 now. 5 of the points up to level 30 are going to have to be invested to get through that curse tree. 3 points are going to have to be invested to get to summon resist. So we've only really got 2 more points to spend on what we want to do. So we'll try and put those points. I think we'll try and put those points into skeletons. Try and get the skeleton group as big as we can before we have to switch into those kind of mandatory skills. I think summon resist is just going to be required for Diablo. He's got so many like lightning attacks and fire attacks. We're going to need some resistances just to survive, just to tank 1 or 2 hits. And of course lower resist is really going to see how much, how far the rabbit hole goes with this build. Not bad charm. I mean, a lot of people will look at this and think it's pretty bad, but 18 life on a grand charm. I'm not carrying a lot of stuff with me, to be honest, that I can't carry that around. And 18 is another, another 10% life. Almost. So 3 total dud routes. Finally, we get to where we want to be. The little kink, the kinky summoner himself. And we're lucky at this point. We don't seem to have triggered his AI, because otherwise that skeleton will be getting peppered with attacks. Immediately got some spells coming away. Oh, God, that guy absolutely took it on the chin there. But looks pretty empty. Okay, we've got some ghost boys. We just lure them up and around. Dim vision. I mean, look at that. After a pretty decent dim vision, absolutely took that on the chin, straight in the gut, taking that glacial spike. Man, I love this soundtrack, by the way. A lot of people complain I have the soundtrack too high, but I like listening to it. I might turn it down a bit post production, but look at that. What robe? Why you can't get that robe, I don't know. Why that's not DLC at this point. What are you doing, Blizzard? I'd probably buy it as well if it was like £1. I probably would. How pathetic, isn't it? I was there for Horse Armour and Oblivion and thought, and knew someone who bought it and thought, this feels like the beginning of the end. It was. So Tarash's tomb. Coming up to Duriel. This is the point where I'm like, oh, I haven't really got prepared for this guy at all. I'm trying to get a decent group here. Again, mainly fire. We probably want 1 poison. And we want 1 ice if we can. And a few repositions here. And when they all group together, I mean, it's super high risk. We're going to get absolutely destroyed by certain things on later levels if we do that. But when they group together, man, the damage output from that little group always just feels really good. Pretty clear little area there. I realise at this point we actually have 2 parts of the set. Yeah, exactly. That's how good I am at this game. And I think there's not really much of a bonus there from having the 2, I'll be honest. So is it really worth it? Because that shield is not great. I don't need the strength that shield's going to give me. I'd rather have the bone armour at this point. Because I'm going to get absolutely, you know, punched in the dick by... Well, I don't have a dick, actually. Sorry. I'm clearly a beautiful lady. So I've got thawing potions. Will I remember to drink them? Actually, I've forgotten the staff, which is probably maybe more important. So let's jam that dry shaft as hard as we can. Put an extra cup of sand in there and really make Duriel pay. Because of course he's attached to that orifice. Is his orifice. We all know that now. And yeah, just putting some extra sand in there. Really like some real bits of rock and grit. And then just shoving that stuff right in there. And you can actually in the distance hear him scream. Not many people know that. A very high pitched scream as well. So we've got a lot of lightning boys here. But actually it shouldn't matter too much. I think he's got same lightning resist as fire. He's got some cold resist. Oh, just here they all split. Okay, this might be okay. Oh, 2 down pretty early on. We've got 6 in total. Oh my god, 2 down to 2 life. Okay, we got this. Oh, they get absolutely melted by him. So let's run. See if we can get this one lightning. Oh god. I can see he's taken some damage. Let's get to Act 1. And where the hell is everybody? Eventually we finally find... Oh, we get 2 poison boys. Well, look, they're all sacrificial at this point. We're going to have to do this a few times. I'm not going to waste going back and forth and replenishing my mana just to get the right kind of mix. We've got to get back before he regenerates his life. We'll take some more throwing potions. Neck them down. Now, ideally, we want to like get all the guys... Oh. The problem is his aura... That tick, we've got no resistances on these guys at all, so the constant tick from his like freeze aura is probably going to do enough to damage them. Let's tank this for a little bit. There's no point. There's no point with one guy. We're better off keeping him alive and getting a full retinue again. Let's see if the Stony Field has got some more packs, and that's much better, isn't it? Let's get back in there. Good mix now. Okay, this looks okay. And actually, look, the damage is good. The damage is good. He's focusing on me. Getting some blocks in. He's not taking the bone armor off yet. Unfortunately, he's not bothering me as often as I want him to. I've put the weaken curse on him as well, so he's doing 33% less damage. Of course, dim vision, anything like that's not going to work. There's nothing else really I can use against him at this point. Amplify damage just doesn't work, of course, because it's physical damage and all my guys are elemental. But going pretty well. I'll speed it up because I had to do it 2 more times. Gone. A few interesting items here as well, which is always good fun. Shadow Fang. Dual leech there, which is pretty cool for an early level item. Quite good fun. And -2 light resist, which I always think is quite cool. Kind of wish they did a few more things like that. And Wither String. Now the interesting thing about that one, fires magical arrows, so might be an option later on. Dual resist belt. I mean, the poison isn't great, but it is an improvement on the magic one we've got at the moment. And before we disappear, I really like this area. I've got to say, they just went to town. Kind of wanted to have a look at the runes and stuff, but the lighting really reminds me of like Baldur's Gate, Planescape Torment. I know I've mentioned before. I love the lighting there. The lighting in the old game is just exceptional. And little TP trick there when you want to get ahead of everyone else in a multiplayer game, you can go into the harem and go from there. The harem. There's an Irishman. He's got I'm that Indian bastard. We got Paddy and his cousins here. That'll teach you. Anyway, normally there's a pretty well placed hero at the beginning, and that first hero has a very good chance. It's always a bit disappointing when it doesn't drop the Jade statue. But yeah, the first hero normally will always drop the Jade statue, so you can get that quest out of the way. Actually, Arctic Belt, I don't hate it as about 40% cold resist. Not the most useful one to have, of course. Lightning is generally a lot more damaging, and fire is just super useful. And we've got to start working up the curse tree, so we get Iron Maiden, which is always a good fun one. We've got 60 strength, probably won't put any more in there for the rest of the game. Dexterity at 45, so we've got a decent block chance. I think maybe just put some more points into vitality at this point. Now these mages are actually costing quite a lot to summon as well, so with 68 mana, yeah, we'll probably get 2 or 3 before we have to get a potion going. And the curses, you can see, they're not expensive, but with this little mana and regeneration, it can be a bit of a pain. Once again, make the mistake of going too far south, so I have to kind of make my way further north. through these spider boys. Let's have a look at this shrine as well. There are actually quite a few unique shrines around the place. It's worth having a look at them just to see what the design choices they've made. And here we go, like flame. You know from my videos, Sark the Burning is a real risk at this point. But absolutely creamed. Are you kidding me? Charred. Now, I've got a stamina potion in front of me. I've got a stamina shrine, and I just get inspired to do what one person really didn't want me to do, which is completely skip this act, but I just can't stand the jungle. I've got lost too often. Immediately get distracted. This is like almost my most distracted video I've ever had. I find this little like boat rack. Yeah, just super cool. I love that. I don't love the fact they're not like carved boats. I would have really loved that. Like the dugout canoes, I think they are called. Yeah, look them up. Look them up. They're really cool. Sprinting through this, I'm using dim vision, but to be honest, if they're in melee range, dim vision is pointless, so I have to switch to terror every now and then. I get pretty good at curses on this because I have to switch between quite a few. And once again, completely distracted by this little shrine and whatever apple-based drama occurred around there. It looks quite low resolution, which actually quite annoyed me at the time. Feels like a asset that should have been updated a little bit, but yeah, mega apple drama happened there. And this map, I tell you what, Act 3, the worst act. I get so lost. Every time I'm in the Great Marsh, I just think I've gone the wrong way. Like the Great Marsh is just, if you're in the Great Marsh, you've gone the wrong way. This complete pointless waste of time. Look how far I've cleared so much of this area as well. And it's actually happens to be like parallel almost. And even here, I'm like, look, this is how big this map was. When you're doing this with mages, oh God, it's just such a bad design. There needs to be like some really cool things at the end of it, like incredible rewards to make it worth it, but otherwise it's just such a slog. But eventually we find what we're looking for, which is the Gid Bin. I never used to really bother with the Gid Bin because the reward's so bad, but actually when you do these kind of runs, it's just quite good fun just to break it up. And we don't have a passive Ratman this one, I'm afraid. We've got quite the opposite, so let's clear them out. So some champions blocking the way to get through this. I don't actually hate this dungeon, I think it's quite cool. It is very challenging on harder difficulties, I've got to say. I'm trying to keep my bone armor topped up. I'm working between like using dim vision as a skill, and I should probably just go back to town and clear some of this stuff out, but half the game is inventory management, of course. And these dark shapes, that's a lot of them. You can see we're actually legitimately tanking. I mean, of course, ghosts aren't like super dangerous in melee combat, really, but they do stack up, and yeah, no great drama. Found this little like trap, and I thought that was like is that a person who's been put in there? Still not quite sure about that. Actually found a decent amulet there as well, like 25% fire resist just in this chest here. And actually against Ndugu that could be pretty good. Fire resist is just generally just such a good resistance, easily the best one. It's just so frequently you come up against fire enchanted and fire using creatures. And we've seen this shrine in the past, but I think I clicked on it before I was able to get the video of it, so you can see what the detail of it. Just looks super weird, like quite out of place, I'll be honest. Looks more like an Act 5 kind of one. Because there's some real weird ones in Act 5, gotta say. Got a skill point here. Look, I'm going to have to get Summon Resist at some point, so I just have to put that reluctantly, waste that point into Golem. 27% chance to block, up to 30. I think we've got some diminishing returns on dexterity now, so I think maybe let's keep it about that level and put some more into vitality from now on. But into level 3, it's always quite a good fun area because the groups of enemies are so spread out. I should know this layout pretty well, but in Ndugu there. I use a quick safety portal, although I'm pretty confident we can hold our own against this guy. I'm trying to curse him, but you know, I'm going to have to use Weaken because he's not going to be dim visioned like the other witch doctors. Haven't lost anyone yet. And there he goes down, and his follow-up, his wife that holds him up, down straight away. Actually, plate mail is a pretty good find as well. Look, even it's got socket too. I do like stealth just for the extra. It's got good fast to hit recovery. A lot of it might be just down to how cool I look. Oh my god, that looks really cool. No, I must avoid the temptation. Yeah, that looks pretty badass though. But why we came here? Yeah, that's right. I'll have a quick look at this charm while I'm here, see if it's any good. What are your bets? Oh, God. Almost here. Now, what we're really looking for is his cheer that he does. Woo! Oh, he even turned around to do it. What a lad. Yeah, bit showy, actually. Almost. Yeah, gone off you a bit. 11% better chance to find magic items on that, and some resist. Yeah, I'll probably put that on, actually. Yeah, waypoint situation at this point should really be... really have more than one. So I have to go back to the level 3, all the way back through the flare dungeon, and just carry on sprinting and try and get to Kurast. Get immediately distracted by a different kind of doodad. Still got that low resolution outer side, but some interesting, like, cups on top, not sure. And I always go the wrong way here, and then now I need to go left. What we're looking for is that glorious stone bridge that indicates that we are close. Now, the question is, safety portal, of course. Are we going to be able to take these guys on? Actually, with dim vision, we should be fine. Well, here's a good example. We'll see. Annoyingly, dim vision. I think if they got a sight of you, they just, even if they've got dim vision on them, they know the kind of general direction you're in, and they'll just run towards you. Some worse than others. So now the dim vision isn't really working at all because they're in melee range. So even if I cast dim vision, they're still going to be wailing on some of the dudes. So actually, it looks like we're doing fine. Might be worth just casting weaken just to hope keep the mage there alive. But yeah, they did fine. Easy mode. And it's always nice to get into lower Kurast. Oh, and a bonfire already. That's really good. We just got to hope the waypoint. I say really good. We've got to hope the waypoint's nearby. We can make the most of the fact that a lot of the chests around these campfires just drop magic items. And heading up here, can you believe it? Another bonfire. I swear this is probably one of the first instances of me getting a double bonfire. You can get, I think, up to 3 that can spawn. And when you do, especially on high difficulties, you're absolutely laughing with the stuff you can find. Really good place to find runes. But actually just for like getting income. There's loads of magic items. You can just make a pretty decent bank without too much effort. I've actually got a blind on hit item here as well. Doing some magic. Normally I miss, of course, in melee, and I haven't really used any melee attack for some time, but comes in clutch there, clearly. And this is what we're after. Man, it feels good getting that lower Kurast waypoint. Can finally enjoy myself. And I'm going to enjoy myself. I think some of these chests. Got some really decent placement here. So with very, very limited effort. And annoyingly, don't really have the space, but some of the chests, man, when they pop, all rare items can come out. Find these really decent boots as well. 25% magic find. So you know what time it is. Take your seat on the stool. Have an apple. One of those bits might have fallen off of Deckard. But yeah, let's have a look. Look at this. Legendary. And actually a lot of shrunken heads as well. So let's look at those first, because we could get some pretty decent stuff. We'll use Deckard as well, seeing as he's here, rather than use the older scroll. Okay, Golem 1. Not very useful. Sell it. Golem 1. Plus, okay, Ray Skeleton Mage. That's good. I mean, better than the Bone Armor one we're using at the moment, because we need the extra points in Skeleton Mage and Skeleton Mastery. No good. Another Skeleton Mage. And that's got a decent faster block and better block chance. I think we're pretty lucky with that, I'll be honest. We'll keep the old Bone Armor one on the offhand, so we can use that if we need to. Plus 2 Ray Skeleton Mage wand. I mean, I was quite excited, then I realised, yeah, we just need to shop for one at this point. So this is all money in the bank for when we need to go shopping. Charms, a few boots, bit of jewellery here as well. This is most of it, to be honest. Cold damage, useless. Don't need it. Mana. Cold resist. Maybe. Hold on. I can't help myself, really. I just like maxing out those resists. Plus 6 to strength. Again, contextual might be worth just hanging. No, let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of it. Strength, yeah, get rid of it. Another charm they get rid of. Oh, 9 to life. Okay, yeah, we'll hold on to that. Don't hate that. Okay, useless. Oh, it's an amulet. Okay, I thought it was a ring for a moment. Yeah, I'd rather have 25 of one resist than 5 of all of them. No good, no good, no good. Okay. Yeah, we'll have that. We'll have that for when we do bosses and stuff. Lightning resist. Yeah, nice for Mephisto. One rare there. Yeah, no good. And I have in a few of my other videos cubed the remain, like the trash that we don't need, and turned it into the amulets and rings. Never worth it. And look, actually, there's a 9 max damage one there. I'm got my punching paladin hat on, but actually slightly more common than I realised. And that is a very decent one. Yeah, would have loved to put that in a 4-socket shield or something. And look at this for a sewer map. Straight into the Golembats. And as many of you will know, the sewers have caused me many a nightmare. Now they're in combat. They've got some weird AI because they do like to attack for a little bit, and then when they take a bit of damage they just disappear and come back. Which can be a bit annoying, but let's make our way down to the second floor. Really feels like it inspired a lot of the Diablo 3 like waterways area, now I think about it. But sewers level 2. A cool little area. Shame they didn't like keep this as a little secret area. That would have been quite good. But Kaleem's Heart's what we're after. Now we know from the direction of this temple, it's not going to be the right one. Now I know. It's just a cool little bit of extra. And this bit again. I know I spoke earlier about having the tower. I thought this would be a really cool house. There's a lot going on here, by the way. The artist has really gone to town. But it really feels like it used to be well lived in. Which I suppose is what the Kurast should look like, right? But there's loads of little cool doodads there, and they've kept the little fire, which actually makes sense now, rather than just being an isolated fire in a weird empty stone shed. It'd be so cool if you could take this over, though. And the stairs, and we know this is going to be the ruined temple. So the ruined temple, Lamessen's Tome, which is basically a series of sketches that Alcor has made for people in town that he really needs to get back. Because if it falls into the wrong hands, he could be in a lot of trouble. He's still on probation. And Dim Vision here, I thought that first Dim Vision cast was going to be really bad, but it just seemed to hit them at the right point, where they're out of range of anyone, so it's worked really well. And Eisenhart, he just drops his equipment all over the place, chuck it on the ground. It's what I'll put it on the off-hand, because I've actually got the spot, but just to show you if I get any other parts, which is almost inevitable to find his armour in Act 3, it's like the one set item that everybody will have found at some point. I may as well clear this area up. It's quite nice when you kind of enjoy yourself in some of these zones. You can see there they're all spread out. When I'm running through areas, the mages like pop in and out of different areas, so it can be a bit annoying when you suddenly stop and see something. And then the mages, of course, are completely spread out. Bit of drama on the bridge. I think let's just get everyone back together. Let's give Alcor his sketchbook. What an experience that was, reading that. Another point in Skeleton Mage. There's a cool looking sabre on the ground there. Of course. It is cool. The Angelic Sickle. Pretty cool item. It's got that kind of Diablo 1 vibe to the design of the sword there, which I think is quite cool. And now I get excited about getting a sorceress specific item, which of course I'm not a sorceress, so why would I even care? So let's reset everyone. Let's bring them back through the waypoint. And here, scale mail. And unique as well. Not really great, I'll be honest. Cannot be frozen. It's quite good for Bale, and that's about it, I'll be honest. A few times throughout, especially on harder difficulties when things like Cold Novas can last a long time. And there's some areas in Act 5 which can benefit from. It's a real, like, nice to have, but against Bale it's like a necessity. And this guy, look at some of this. Are you kidding me? That is, well, if you weren't sure if you wanted to subscribe, now you are. So Council, I mean, you can't help but be concerned, and they did a very good job with the Hydras mainly of taking. I've got no summon resist at the moment, so those Hydras are doing massive damage. But you can see the skeletons themselves tank very well when they're not being pelted with fireballs. So the Council melt. Unfortunately at this point I have to try and assemble the flail, I'm just not sure. So I've got some eyes, I've got his nose of course and his little tongue sticking out. I've got 2 like limbs. I thought I'd quite like some 2 little like arms, maybe, or legs, and then of course you know what that is. I thought you might need one. But anyway, let's chuck that kind of disgusting bloody torso creature against that little area, and they love it. They love it, so that'll open up for us. Cathan's Visage, it's quite good. It's got decent resists. The mana is quite nice as well, but you know, once you've put a coif on, it's go time. You get a bit excited. You can see I did a little lap around the waypoint there, so quite pleased to find it so quickly. Fortunately, when you find the waypoint quite quickly, it normally means you're very far away from the level 3, but actually, we find it pretty quickly. And that conviction aura has given me the conviction to not even bother trying to fight anyone there. Let's get into Act 1. Our favourite completely unpopulated area, the Stony Field. I might as well grab that scepter, it might be worth something. And let's make some preparations, because Mephisto's around the corner. Now, we got these boots from earlier, if you recall. We've got some decent lightning resistance on that. We've got a Hawkmail on, but actually we've got 8% lightning resist on this. So it might be worth just putting that... It does look really good on us, I've got to say. A lot of this other stuff don't really need at this point. See how many of the shields we've managed to pick up. I don't know why I'm hanging on to it, but I can't help myself. I could put that shield on as well, because it does have some lightning resist, but we're at 75, so we don't need to. Easy mode. Right, we've got a few of these lads to clear out. We've got to be a bit careful. We don't want them dropping a meteor on top of us. Just check that bastard sword up there. It's just magic. Okay, if we stand here, we've got to hope that he's going to just hit us with the spells. 224 life. Decent lightning resist. Very good lightning resist. We've seen in the past him do 200 damage, but I don't think we've ever seen... him do that much with 75% lightning resist, so we've got to be really unlucky here to die. Of course, I've never died against him on normal anyway, but you know, it's because I take these kind of precautions. Balls bouncing up and down, always a sign of a party. Let's just be a bit careful. Put that mask as well. I've been carrying Cathan's mask. We're back in the Stonefield. I don't know why I bothered here, because it was so sparsely populated. So I think other waypoints would have been preferential. But I'll soon learn. Another set of lads. In instances like this where they kind of split out, it's really good. And I'm tanking as much as I can here. I'm not going to bother with like... We've put Weaken on him. He's doing a little bit less damage. I'm not going to bother like constantly putting bone armor back on. Mick Dagger has just put me off. I cast it almost every time I did one attack. I used to have to redo it. Mephisto, no issue whatsoever. And we've got some pretty decent stuff from him as well. Let's have a look at this. Well, we shouldn't just yet. Let's check the super chest up here. His super chest does have a pretty decent chance of dropping some good items. And actually, chuck those throwing axes. We're not Jade and Braden, come on. Let's just get into Act 4. Let's finally get ourselves in. And just warm ourselves by this kind of weird fireplace. Never really liked it. Now, Twitch Throw is really good, I've got to say. Increased attack speed, we're not going to use. Fast hit recovery, but actually 25% increased chance of blocking is insane. The strength and dexterity is really nice. A lot of people, I think, use this. I mean, look at that. The block is insane. It goes up to 68% with that. And Steel Clash is a really decent item. Again, improved chance of blocking. Paladin's overpowered once again. But the 15% all resist without any effort whatsoever is really nice. So some really decent stuff. I'm not going to use it because I don't really need the resists. I'd rather have the shrunken head. But we can switch back to some of our normal equipment now. And let's do some shopping, I think. We're still using a heavy belt, so it's probably worth upgrading that at some point. Ideally, we want a belt with some resists, but to be honest, I can't be bothered. We don't need it. We're not really struggling at this point. It's not like I'm running out of potions or having to replenish a lot. They are hitting, and they're hitting pretty hard when they get me, but you know, dim vision is really great, and we can just maneuver ourselves around. And the skeletons, as we've already seen, actually tank pretty well. I mean, and even if they don't, we've got more than enough mana to cast a few more. Now, burning souls would normally be a bit of a concern, but The good thing about a lot of these meme builds is I normally have to stack some lightning resistance before this point anyway, so I'm not super concerned. And actually, as we've already learnt from Dim Vision at the very beginning of the video, I'm sure you recall, yep, we can nullify their attack. One casts a Dim Vision and they're pretty much redundant. So now, do I want to be casting Dim Vision over and over again? Not really. It's quite mana intensive. You can see, of all of the builds I've had to do, this isn't actually that bad. I mean, considering this is a hero, Pit Lord hero, fine. So Dim Vision at the souls at the top, Israel comes storming in. A bit annoying just given the placement, because a lot of those souls are going to have to be maintained with Dim Vision while this fight continues. He does have a really high health pool. I'm not super concerned about the amount of times he's going to be like using that Frost Nova, because my Skelly boys actually have pretty decent health regeneration. Just check out his death animation here. Yeah, pretty weak. Looks like he falls over himself. Talking falling over himself. Look at that lad. I love the fact there's a few of those. I kind of want to click on them now. 2-socket breastplate. A lot of people will probably be like, you should have put stealth in that. Nah, mate. I like being slow. So we have a lot of skill points. I've got to level up around the same time as getting their Izual reward, which is another 2 skill points. So we've got a few things to play with here. We're going to have to get Summon Resist. So it's so important for the Diablo fight to be able to tank some of those hits. And eventually we're going to have to get up here. So this is just a really good chance to be putting some of those points where we need it. So Summon Resist, 28% resist all with level 1. There's diminishing returns, so you don't need to really, because Necromancers get so many to plus skills, you don't really need to put more than 1 or 2 points in there to get the most from it. But 1 point is almost a necessity, because you need that 28% resist all. Just working my way through the River of Flame here. I'm actually quite enjoying myself. It wasn't too difficult. And sometimes I take a break before Diablo and think about what I need to do. Do I need to go back to the Hellforge? Nope. I don't think we need any gems at this point. I'm not really using them anyway. Let's not waste our time. Do I need the extra experience from doing it? Again, not at this point. I think let's just try and work our way into the Chaos Sanctuary and see how we fare. Got those skill points. I do get a bit scared and put a little bit more into Vitality. But a lot of these guys like Venom Lords, we fought their equivalents before. Right combination of Dim Vision. When they're in range, melee range, we can cast Weaken on them. We're a few points away from lower resist, unfortunately, a few levels away from that. And that would really help trivialise this fight. And actually, this is probably a pretty good area to get up to level 30. But it's a question of time. I'm on a clock here, so let's get through it. And you can see we are losing skellies on the way. Those ones at the front line that are having to tank are eventually falling to the onslaught. And the annoying thing is the Oblivion Knights can't be cursed. I'm not sure if I knew that or not, but yeah, of all the creatures you want to be able to hit with Dim Vision, it's those guys. But actually their damage output really isn't enough to trouble me, as long as I'm not the one getting hit. The curses can be a bit frustrating, but skeletons actually, they seem to spread out quite wide, so it's very rare that you get them all like tagged, you know, enough to really slow you down. So second seal here will be the one that summons them. I learned that one of my very first videos, some very helpful hints from some of you. And I'm still learning a lot about this game, like I've played a lot of it, but you know, there's loads more to learn. So at this point, just popping back to town every now and then just to heal up. Sometimes I get the feeling like, oh, I haven't lost anyone for a while, but I can see they're taking damage, so let's just get back, reset a little bit. You can see I did a little bit of pause there. Sometimes I get worried that I'm not recording some of these more important fights. But 6 Skelly Mages, I mean, you know, Poison Guy isn't really helping at all, I can tell, but the rest of them, look at that. Boom. Gone. Quite a decent batch of cash there as well from those 2 items. Nice to see. God, definitely got some gambling on the cards. Lord Deceased. So Lord Deceased, because he's got that fanaticism aura, it can be quite intimidating. Look, But look at this tank go. Unbelievable effort. Well done, lad. And Cease is actually interesting. It's Richard Cease. You can see in the middle of this image. And actually next to him is Karen Colenso. So you can see a lot of them named. I know Deceased is a bit of a meme name anyway, like a play on words, but nice that they added their own kind of like identity and stamp on it. You would do if you did. If you put this much effort into a game, I'd name every other item after myself, my family, you know, pets, objects in my house, whatever it would be. So I'm using uniquely here. I'm using Terra. I've kind of just unlocked it, so let's have a bit of fun with it. But I want to get all of the minions out of the way by using Terra, and the only one that won't be affected is our main boy. And once he's gone, the rest of them will fall. Here he is. Part of the Blue Man Group, Infectious Souls. Famous for his catchphrase, I just blew myself. And this is exactly the way I wanted this to go, by the way. Anyway, just terrorise the rest of them out of the way. And then we've got the infected just left vulnerable. And of course Poison Boy. He's just the worst of all of the children. There's always one, isn't there? He's the real, like, ginger stepchild of the group. And Griswold's Edge. Yeah. Not great for me. Not great for anyone, really, other than maybe Griswold. And now we've got Giant Arm. Is anyone looking forward to this? Okay, we need to get into range at least. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Diablo is just the worst. He's the worst person. I actually go in, but like a Mind Players 1, because I can't believe he did much. And I've got Summon Resist. It's not even like I've neglected the resistances of these guys. Anyway, let's just get back in. We need to just get a decent angle. If we get close, he might use his lightning attack. I can dodge that. So this is pretty good. If I can keep it in melee range and just distract him, it's fine. Because if that firestorm hits, or like the fire nova and stuff hits, the guys just get absolutely melted. But this is working. This is working. Oh, this is not ideal though. I can wand bash myself. Oh my god, I've got the rejuvenation. It's fine. But bash my way out of a bone prison. Oh my god. Well. Oh, and everyone's gone. Okay. Well, we know what we need to do. Back to the woefully underpopulated stony field. Oh no, nightmare. Okay, well, this is a nightmare. Come on. Normally you can cast the portal. If I just get through it, thank God. Okay. Normally you can cast the portal when you're stuck in those bone prisons and kind of like make your way through it somehow and get out the other side. This is working out. We've got 7 mages here. I'm not a great fan of the positioning we've got here, but they're spread out enough. Hopefully, we've been imprisoned again. Not a great fan of the position we're in here, but nothing we can do. Hopefully he continue to fight us. We're a bit far away. We've got to be careful. With 13 life, we've got to be careful. Okay, we'll cut a bit of a break there. We don't want that lightning attack to accidentally direct that towards that. Why is he so keen on honestly boning me over and over? Still got 6 mages left here as well. They're doing some really good work. Ugh, that attack is insane. So I found here the Black Marsh. This is my kind of go-to area. Just by the waypoint here, just to the south, slightly the waypoint, there's a huge batch of bone bags we can utilise. And it took quite a few more, gotta be honest. I think there's four or five more trips. But we got him. And the loot was dreadful. But who cares? The quest is done. Let's put our thermal underwear on and get to Act 5. Like the way they look at the skellies as they're walking past. Coif of Glory, still wearing it. Still protected. Just having a look at some of the items we got. I mean, not much here. Yeah, really nothing at all. That's not bad. Dual resist, disrepair. Shame it's not ethereal, really.
Ah, a necromancer. While I admire your courage in seeking out the darker side of magic, we really have little need of your skills. The battle will turn soon enough without your meddling. Yet, I should have expected to see your kind here. You are like a moth to the flame, drawn to all this death. It feeds you in more ways than one, does it not?
Yeah, I felt compelled to listen to that because it's so cool. I love the way he looks like he's shivering as well. Just that subtle sign that he's not quite happy with where he is. Let's carry on throwing my money down the drain. We've got some rare ones there, and none of these mods are particularly good. And even the rare ones aren't really doing well. You can hear the Diablo one music in the background. Like the desperate cave music, which I really love, by the way, but... yeah, I mean, it's not really groundbreaking stuff. But let's make some ground into Act 5. Love we can get some help here as well, some actual decent help. But very quickly, I think, yeah, let's just get through this. It can be a real slog, this. The environment isn't great for the Skelly boys either, so let's just get through it. Quick stop at Dak. Always satisfying when you can take him out. One of the few super uniques you can get. It's quite well designed. I mean, Act 5 is so nice, you know, compared to Act 4, because it's just so well designed. The environments are a bit repetitive, I'll be honest. I've played this game so many times now, though. You know, it's impossible for things not to be somewhat repetitive. But the cave areas in this, for instance. And I wish they'd made more of like the extra areas. Like the extra dungeons and stuff like that, being quite unique. Shenk here, not much of a chance against the machine gun unit we've now got. Super satisfying to see him fall without too much drama at all. And then of course we're here. A staple of almost every run at this point. The melee enslaved here. Just being so close to the waypoint, it's just such a good location to farm. It can be quite hit and miss how easy this is. And ideally we want to be upping the player count so we can really benefit from the extra experience. But some decent drops there as well. Just some good cash in the bank. Armor's just such a good thing here. I found this old stuff. Let's get rid of that old thing. And do the most satisfying thing in the whole game. Keeping up. How many times have I done that and never used those gems? A lot. But they're so pretty. My precious. So I do a bit of farming there. Not very much, I'll be honest. I find this really badly defended chest. And a bit of attempt at a house here. I don't like these chairs, the fact they're both facing the same way. Oh, but it's a bit annoying that we keep getting the poison one. Oh my god. Like, this is a window into my soul. I really wish you could specify which one you wanted. And look at this poor guy. Lured into one of Deckard's sex games. What I did notice is in the original, he had very stumpy legs. So I don't know what happened there. Or his pelvis was, I don't know, elongated. But he must have had a really difficult time pulling that cart around. So maybe Deckard put him out of his misery. And look at this, a bone helm. And this is insane. I say insane. For normal, this is really good. Finally we get rid of the coif before it breaks. But +1 necromancer skills. And yep, I am of course a necromancer. So 7 durability left on that. Actually, it lasted quite a long time at 7 durability. So. And thank God the doors get broken down. For those who've suffered with me in Golemdad. Oh God, I'll never look at those doors the same way again. Let's run through a lot of this stuff. Find this bit boring. And just using the back and forth between the entrance there to reset where the skelly boys are. And thresh socket's always nice. And another item here. Oh, we've got this one before. Chuck it on the ground. Oh, but actually I won't. I need to sell it. I need the cash. Fuel my habit. It's the first time I think you come against the Moonlords. It's like dual-wielding Minotaurs. Because some of the detail here, I wish they kind of made more of this. Maybe they have. I don't love exploring these areas because they can be quite dangerous. But it's nice to see like the integration. I don't get it because this is basically a crystalline passage, so I don't know why there's anything here. And then there's a super cozy spot here. And they've made it look so good. It's actually quite a nice little like base. And that little cubby. Again, I'm a real sucker for base building, I'll be honest. You're going to have to endure that in some of my videos when I play something that's not Diablo. But now these guys are really dangerous. And actually I can see my skelly boys having a bit of a hard time. Let's get some more skellies from the corpse pile that's above us. Yeah, I've got to be careful here. And the mana cost, you can see here, it's not cheap. But it's still nice. I mean, I've got a pile of bodies up there. I haven't actually killed any yet. This could be quite bad. Once they start going down. Yeah, and a level up as well. So great news. Actually only level 25. We've got a few more points there that we're going to need to put into the curse tree. But we're not quite at that point yet. So why am I relaxing in town? Got work to get done. Well, actually, I lost a lot of footage here, annoyingly. Not a lot, but enough. But I lost all the footage from the crystalline passage. And I kind of knew this was happening. Because my recording software just wasn't working. And I really didn't want to have to reset and redo it all again. And this is some of the stuff I found. So, Angelic Mantle. Yeah, not great. And Eisenhearts you've seen there as well. Yeah, a few other rings. And I was hoping there might be something here, but... yeah, I mean, high level requirements on those circlets is quite frustrating. And I found this +2 masteries thing. It's really just the cash in hand. I did find a shale rune, you can see there, which is, or could be useful. Otherwise, not a huge amount. And I also found a gem shrine as well to cube up to get that perfect diamond. And now we've got the reward as well. We can see what... yeah, I should have edited this out. Yeah, I can just put that back in the shop, love. So now it's a case of finding an area. I mean, I put the difficulty... oh, I'm just so incoherent when I talk. It takes so much longer to record than it should. Anyway, what I was trying to say is... I was trying to find an area to grind. You know, I need some levels. Level 25 at this point. You can see I'm getting closer to 26. Just trying to find somewhere that the creatures are, you know, easy enough for my guys to take on. The experience is okay. It's not too much of a slog. Against these Erders in the River of Flame, it was kind of manageable. It was quite mana intensive. Just to maintain dim vision on the ones that weren't in combat. Terror on the hero in the group. And then having to resurrect the mages, which at this point, because I've just got such a high level in Skeletal Mage, are actually quite expensive. And this choke point turned out to be a lot better than trying to maintain, you know, dim vision on 3 or 4 of them in different locations. And a quick sojourn through the River of Flame, you end up coming up against this guy, Mephisto. We got one absolute legend out in front doing the tanking. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of these distractions as well, these little bug boys. So I think we're just going to have to pull back a bit, reset. It's very, very difficult controlling these guys. And part of me thinks, well, if I take this into Nightmare, I pretty much have to take a Staff of Teleport. Do the grind. One of you guys was saying it took an hour and a half to find Staff of Teleport. I think I found it 2, maybe 3 different runs. Normally when I get to Nightmare it just feels like with some characters, because they're so gimped, I just need to be able to skip certain areas quite effectively. I say no issue whatsoever. I don't think I lost a single guy against him, by the way, which is pretty sad for him. Well, rip, let's get to the Hellforge. Not ideal being surrounded by bugs. I can't really do much against them, to be honest. Another punch build coming up. And an Ithrune. Well, it's not too bad. Just need a jar and a burr. So level 26. It's taking some time, guys, I'll be honest. The kill speed is not high. It never is with a Summon Necromancer, okay, but... oh my god, and the point... the worst thing about this is how demoralising it is when you just need a full retinue and you get another poison boy. Because the DPS of those is so low. And here we go, Summoner's mod. So we've got to look for that +1 to Necromancer skills. There's also a +1 to summoning skills that we could be looking for as well at this point. So that alongside Raise Skeleton Mage, Skeleton Mastery, Summon Resist, could be big. It's going to be tough to find it, I'll be honest. And what do I need from stats now? Block chance is really good. I think just put some more into Vitality. And every now and then, I teach my mother-in-law a lesson. I'm doing this at a much higher difficulty level, you can see, and actually, she's doing a pretty good job. She's taking them out. Unfortunately, 0 experience. But you can see how many wands I was able to find from the lads in the previous room. So here we go, a bit of a compilation. Endurance. What I ended up doing, because I love this little cubby up there, is just jumping up in the cubby. And then summoning a town portal and then getting them all there. But finally, lower resist. And it's going to be an absolute game changer. Watch for this. So while I reorder some of the skills here, let's just quickly talk about it as a skill. It's severe diminishing returns, unfortunately. And quite a high mana cost as well. But the most important thing is it's reducing all enemies' resistances. So we can break resistances now. Actually, all enemies should be taking more damage as a result. So just a few levels on this should really be able to up our damage output. I can't say it feels insane. It's the same when I had it with Mick Dagger. I used the poison because it does poison improvement as well, lowers poison resist. But it's all good damage and it's going to make a big difference for the rest of Act 5. We've got a few other skill points for the Observant. We've actually got 2 more points here. Now we've got low resist. I can't put any points into that until I get to more higher levels. We've got a few options here. Another point in Skeleton Mage. I mean, 2 more. I think it's worth it. And then with the stat points we've got, well, look, now we're a little bit further up. Our block chance is actually getting reduced. So, I mean, 64% block from 58. That's just 5 more points. So well worth investing in dexterity. Just makes survivability so much higher. So let's see how we fare now. I mean, I'm really going to be using low resist. Which hopefully should reduce the complexity of having to manage so many different curses. Like 2, but I'm not a great player, clearly. So 2 was maxing out my brain. These guys. So here I'm like, okay, we'll just reposition our troops. Oh. Just wait for it. I mentioned the weakness earlier. So this is almost worst case scenario, but absolutely melted my troops there with enough of them. So I've managed to dim vision them just to keep myself alive. But unfortunately those guys, because they've got a kind of splash damage, and they don't just hit one target, they hit all in the area. So this, I'm not concerned at this point. I'm trying to use Terror, just to try and split the pack a bit. I need to go through that way, it's the only way through to that point. But quick retreat, resummon troops, we got through it. And here we are, this absolutely terrifying area. This I'm not looking forward to at all. We've got 8 mages. I mean, who do I even target first? It's not like I can reposition the troops here, so I'm just going to have to try my best to... I've got a good block chance. Maybe if I just get in front of Talik, try and get his attention. We just want to avoid him whirlwinding through 3 or 4 of them at the same time. Just reduces DPS. No, not through there. That's the worst place he could be. And actually, while looking at it, Madoc's taking a lot of damage. And Talik's quite injured as well. We've lost 1 at this point. I think we're doing okay. Just got to keep the low resist on them. Okay, my dog's gone. Corlic's almost gone as well. I can keep him distracted. Yes, okay, Talik's dead. Are you kidding me? Oh my. So I was absolutely terrified of this. The whole of Act 5 I'm thinking, I'm never going to be able to do the Ancients. I'll have to be level 40 or something. But look, the Skelly boys are fine. Actually, checking their health. They look pretty decent. Got the extra skill point now. Is it worth doing another point here? I mean, low resist looks like it's doing well. And actually, I get another Skelly boy. Quite nice to get to 10 before the end. Wow. I really thought this was going to be tough. I had so many pushes. I had Witherstring on backup, thinking that I'm just going to have to run around and use Witherstring. I had so many like, oh, if it doesn't work, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. Who needs it? And they're clearly this overpowered. So into the waypoint, we're endgame out. I actually found a rare circlet as well. I have to get my book back. I got excited for a moment, but I'm not a sorceress, clearly. Look at me. But I've got a lot of cash. You know what that means. Let's go shopping. So we're looking for this +1 necromancer skills. I even get a 3-socket breastplate. You'll see why soon. So now the reason why I'm in Act 4 is because when I gamble in Act 5, I get a lot of stuff I can't use. Especially with circlets and stuff, I can get like level 40. So this somewhat limits the level of the items I'm going to get. What? Okay, hold up. +1 summoning skills. Bit of energy is great. Fire resist. And it's got magic fire. 17! We've done it, boys. We've done it. Okay, that is exactly what I can... The rest of this is going to be a bit annoying now. Cold skills, fire skills. Wow, okay. Combat skills. Wow, I'm surprised. The quality of this is very high. There's a good mana steal there as well. Curses. Wow. So look, I'll do what everybody always tells me to do all the time. Why don't you recube them in the Heraldric? Why don't you use the Heraldric cube properly? Well, this is why. Because you get absolutely nothing. But you've just got nothing to resell. At least there's some resale value. So, completely pointless. Cold resist, cold resist, cold resist. Do I need 500 cold resist? No. No, but what I've done is halved the resale value. Let's do it again. I'll keep doing it, guys. I can do this all day. Look at that. Poison resist 24. Well worth it. And yeah, let's do it again. That's it. Completely wasted all of my money there. Just to prove to you guys, why don't you just do that? It's because it's always pointless. That's why. So a few more gambling. I'm with it back and forth. I think, if I'm honest, this probably was about 40 minutes of my life. Those that know, they know. But summoning skills, few necromancer skills, and then finally this bad boy, necromancer skills. Plus, I mean, I look at the others here. We'll get back to it. Don't worry. Necromancer skills, raise skeletal mage 3, +1 skeletal 37. Okay, yeah. I actually put this in the video as I did it. I was like, don't forget how long it took. 37 minutes, and that's what you can get for your time. The 17 to energy is really, really good, by the way. Because I'm not putting points into energy. And it looks incredible. Proper skull on a stick now. It's definitely my fashion vibe. 3 dexterity is a bit annoying to find. Actually, let's just check. So 65 block, 62. So, seriously, okay. I've got so many items that add to block chance that actually just a little bit of dexterity really helps jump that up. Just having a look at some of the... Because you know me, I haven't got distracted for a while. I wonder if you can see yourself from behind these. You can definitely see the lighting change. Can't see the character though. The blood effects here look so good. The lighting looks amazing on any of the water surfaces. Anyway, let's get on with the mission. Oh, actually, it might be better to dim vision. Focus on the dead. I'm getting good at this now, I'll be honest. By this point, I can use curses. I know my F1, F2, F3 kind of curses. So we've got dim vision, low resist, and then terror as well. So I kind of use a combination of these now. So dim vision just slows it down. If it's getting too much, and they're getting too distracted by too many targets, you can get some terror just to kind of reset the amount of creatures in the area. And actually with that staff now, with our new little wand, our bonking stick, we can get 10. And that feels very symbolic. Shame we're going to miss in the good old days of, at this point I have 20. Calenzo, I think I mentioned the origin of that name. Very easy. Normally I'd be like resetting, like running back. Who needs it? Dim vision is massively overpowered as a skill. I know some of you guys have mentioned that before, but yeah, this is the first time I'm really using it and enjoying it. Now, I'm really worried about the Hydras, because they will wreck them. Some resist. Yeah, it's not all that. The damage is good, to be honest. But this felt quite good fun at this point. I felt like I was maybe overpowered. I mean, look, that 37-minute grind to get that 1-1. Yeah, I get it. Not everyone's going to want to do that. But it is very possible to feel quite overpowered in normal. With mages, that is. Which is a mad thing to say, because I've hated these guys in the past. It's such a disappointment when you get like the first few points into it and you think, oh, there's just absolutely no benefit in this at all. I'm trying to think if there's an aura you could get at some point that would actually benefit them, but the only one I can think of is just so expensive, and it might even be ladder only. So. But how rare is it for me to just be taking on the minions of destruction? Very, for those who haven't watched many of my videos, but normally I'm always just dinosaur herding, and then just running around and leaving them lost. And even Lister, look at this, and I'm tanking him as well. Insane. Insanely overpowered. Oh, of course, symbolic. Poison boy, just to ruin the vibe. I think let's use a portal here. I think we're just going to have to use portals quite a lot to reset him. He teleports around the air, which is going to be annoying. Hopefully a lot of the ads, like the tentacles and stuff, aren't going to distract. And hopefully he's not just going to be able to one-shot all these with one of his waves of cold. What's going on here? I think the, like, what is it, lower defense skill that the Succubus, he's using it as well. And it looks like that lowers, you know, attack range. As it has benefited me the whole run, so. Getting a bit cocky with the zoom in here. But it looks like we're doing pretty well. As long as I stand the other side of Bale, if he does that, I've got a whole frost attack, that pushback attack there. And even though he's summoned a brother, I'm not sure if I'm that bothered. Damage output's good. Low resist doing its job. Down to 8, 6. Oh, okay, they are taking some damage now. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, they were pretty injured. And this, you can see how expensive they are now, so actually it's quite mana intensive. I've got 3 poison boys as well. So. Let's get back in. Let's get that portal back up. And thankfully my absence means his clone has unsummoned. I think we might be getting it. I think that rock might be overpowered. I think the lads are getting stuck behind it. Only a few of them are hitting. Maybe half of them. Yeah, it's definitely worth resetting them. Let's heal them up as well. And you can see jumping back in there completely removes all the tentacles. Not a great spot here because I can't really get the angle on him. Another clone is not ideal. But we're doing it. I've got to say, we're doing it. And I'm just checking the damage there. I just looks like they're taking maybe third, maybe 40% of their health. Yeah, back in we go. The clone's gone. Tentacles aren't ideal. I think we're hitting with all our mages there. It feels a bit like Crushing Blow when you get that like diminishing return. This is working. Oh, it's a shame we had to reposition. That might be better for us actually. I'm going to do the cheeky thing here and just get my Magic Find gear on. Definitely feels this has got nightmare potential. This could also be a nightmare in Nightmare. I've got 81% Magic Find. I mean, it's not huge. But we'll see. We never know. We might get something good. You can drop nightmare items. And we did it. Look at this for drops as well. Insane. And to be honest, that kite shield's probably the best thing of all of these. Sparkly Mail. Yeah, not great. Not great. Actually, attacker takes damage is quite interesting. Nice to get that. Some other characters we've been through. Twitch Toe we've seen. And this is a worse version, so chuck that on the ground. And the Warsaw, that's got +1 skills, yeah. Otherwise that would be quite exciting having +1 skills, but with the ones we've got now. Release it with the Bonk Stick. Amela Breaker's Orb. That is really good Magic Find, by the way, for a shield slot. And it's quite easy to find. And it looks cool as well. I wonder if that's just the lighting in here, but that looks good. I'm not really showing it off very well there. So I was actually looking for that cozy campfire, and I realised now I've done the voiceover that it was in the Crystalline Passage. We found this little cozy spot. Something to a little bath I've run for myself there. And I'm really hoping no one's going to ruin these pots. I hope that poison boy isn't going to ruin those pots. Oh! He broke it. Sorry, you're going to have to die. Sorry, come back. Yeah. Yeah, not a great fan of the poison guys. I've got to say, a lot of pent-up aggression when it comes to them. Don't talk. Let's not talk about the blood stain on the ground. Let's talk about the stats instead. Most of my viewers disappear by this point in the video. So, strength 60. You know I love 60 strength. Decent damage actually. Dex, the extra block. Twitch throw, insane. Vitality 100. Always quite nice to hit the 100. And then base energy, of course. So Skeleton Mastery. A lot of those early points I put in have served us for the whole game. So there's a lot of additional damage we could get from pumping that. Summon Resist. Once you start getting plus skills, you don't really need to put anything more than the base point in there. And then Raise Skeleton Mage, got our 10 boys. Current skill level, 24. I don't know how much higher we'd be able to get that. Probably high with the right gear. But 10's about the most boys we're going to be able to have at any one point. Really nice having loads of curses to play with. So I actually ended up using 3, but lower resist is the one we ended up using. Never really liked using Confuse and Attract, like I said, but Dim Vision, oh my god. Overpowered skill, insane. But yeah, Love Terror as well. Actually worked quite well in just managing the amount of creatures in the area. Back to our favourite location, just showing you some of the stuff. We found a lot, and I'll be perfectly honest, I have modded the game. So I have improved drop rate, you might have noticed. So that's why we found as many items as we did. Now look, I only doubled the chance to drop set and unique items and rare items. It felt like we found a lot more, even like Bane Ash. It's just cool finding this stuff. So look, those who bother actually watching this part of the video, and I did have plans on this breastplate, by the way. For those who know might know. Yeah, I thought maybe a Valkyrie would be necessary for the Ancients, and hopefully that didn't feel like cheating too much. Insane wand. Insane wand. Yeah, I mean, honestly, maybe that's a bit overpowered for this point. You can only really get a few more points into Skeleton Mastery, and that's almost perfect. Great to have the +1 skills in the helm. I think +1 skills is really we need to go with this. Increased chance of blocking there. Insane. And it's nice to have the extra dexterity as well. +1 summoning skills. That could probably be improved, but 17 magic find with +1 skills. I'm really liking that. Decent find. +2 Raise Skeletal Mage. We were quite lucky finding a few zombie heads actually with Raise Skeletal Mage. I've got my magic find gear on now, so. And I'm not sure if I showed me picking up that belt, but. And this is what we've been normally using, just a little bit. But actually, good resists. Not that I really need it, because I should be staying out of combat, but. And the charms, really bad on charms, I've got to say. +2 to 9, it's +2 9 lifelines, pretty much the best we've got. Get to the pub. Treat the boys, Joe Guinness. So these are the mods I had. I didn't actually use increased monster density, but I did double the drop rate of everything like rares and uniques and sets. And I actually felt like it was more fun to play with a few more items coming. Let's get rid of the poison, guys, so we can really enjoy our time together. But please let me know if you think actually it kind of cheapens it if you find this many good items. Or maybe it makes it more fun. Just let me know. I've got some real Act 5 vibes in the UK at the moment, so showing off my recent adventure. Thanks again for watching. I love all the comments. I'm sure my endless touring in this one will inspire some. Like, sub, you know, buy me a beer with the super thanks if you think I've earned one. And let me know your thoughts on the modding too, please. So, see you guys in the next one.